The final score, Buffalo 26.
Now for an in-depth summary of today's Bills game, plus a comprehensive look around the National Football League. This is Channel 2's Goal to Go, the post-game show.
Bills make me wanna kick your heels.
Here's the scene at Rich Stadium this afternoon, where the Bills have just beaten the Miami Dolphins 24-14 to win their third consecutive AFC East Divisional Championship, and more importantly, win home field advantage throughout the playoffs for the first time in those 3 years. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Wes Goforth. The Bills have done it this afternoon, 24-14 over the Miami Dolphins, as we told you, and did a lot of things right and Reich. Frank Reich had a great day with 15 completions, 21 attempts, 235 yards, and 2 touchdowns in filling in for the injured Jim Kelly, and had a great day, and we'll give you an opportunity to vote for him or other Bills in our Player of the Day in just a few minutes. First of all, the defense had a great day too, sacking Dan Marino a total of 3 times. This in the first quarter. On the first possession by Miami, Jeff Wright got to him. And then Shane Conlon later in the fourth quarter, and Mike Lodish right here in the fourth quarter, with the Dolphins driving still somewhat in the ballgame about halfway through the fourth quarter, although they were trailing at the point at that time 24-7. So the Bills winning it 24-14 this afternoon. Our Pepsi Player of the Day, will give you an opportunity to vote for the Player of the Day, Don Beebe, 6'4", 9900. Beebe had several catches, but unfortunately looks like he has a serious knee injury. We hope to know more about that later in the program. Frank Reich, we've already gone over his numbers. Outstanding in relief of Jim Kelly. Darrell Talley, big day on defense. Disappointed not making the AFC Pro Bowl earlier in the week. However, had a big day against the Dolphins this afternoon. And how can you overlook Thurman Thomas? Better than 150 yards on the ground, as the Bills pretty much controlled, obviously, the clock and the ground game this afternoon, and that another big part of the defense's effort. They were able to shut down Sammy Smith and the Dolphins' running game. So again, 24-14, Bills over the Miami Dolphins this afternoon. Other NFL games this afternoon of importance, mainly in the AFC Central Division at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. Houston against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Oilers were up 3-0 in the second quarter when Warren Moon hit Hayward Jeffries on a 21-yard touchdown, and they took a 10-0 lead. But 13-6 Oilers now later in the quarter. James Brooks up the middle, 56 yards, pretty much untouched for the touchdown. Brooks has over 200 yards rushing. The Oilers are going to score a touchdown here to go in front 20-13, but Boomer Esiason has come through with 2 touchdowns late in the fourth quarter, and now the Bengals lead that game 40-20, and that somewhat muddles the picture in the AFC Central. However, this game was not muddled at all. The Cleveland Browns fumbled the first 3 times they touched the ball, the first 3 plays from scrimmage, and the Pittsburgh Steelers scored on 3 touchdown passes by Bobby Brister. This one to Mike Mularkey to make it 7-0. Pittsburgh wins this one 35-0 is the final this afternoon at Three Rivers Stadium, and the Pittsburgh Steelers will clinch the AFC Central Division with a win there this afternoon, and in fact they already have done that, 35-0. Ed Kilgore is standing by live at Rich Stadium with the jubilant Buffalo Bills and their general manager Bill Polian. Ed?
But that's right, Wes. I'm with the architect, as it is, and they painted a pretty picture for you here, Bill Polian, this afternoon. You couldn't ask for a better performance all the way around. Defense, special teams, offense, and of course Frank Reich. Great job.
Yeah, terrific job. Great job by Marvin, the coaching staff. Great job by the players. You could tell at Wednesday's practice that they were just sharp as could be. Frank was every bit as sharp during the week as he was today, and of course the defense played magnificently. You know, everything really went against us. All the calls went against us.
First half was kind of ridiculous.
Oh, it was absurd, you know, and yet we continued to persevere and ran, and as we said, you know, you got to run to win, and we ran to win at the end. Thurman did a magnificent job, and Donnie Smith, when he was in, just a great victory, and the only damper on it, Don Beebe getting hurt. But all in all, it's nice to win 3 in a row.
No question about that. Very quickly, too, one of the pluses I thought was the offensive game plan. The Bills came out. They didn't come out tentatively. They came out throwing deep, putting the ball up, mixing the plays, and it seemed like the Dolphins were flat-footed most of the way.
Well, you don't believe us. You know, we said all week Frank can do all the things that Jimmy
You
can.
told us, yeah.
Yeah, you just didn't believe us. That's all.
You're going to have a hard time keeping him in Buffalo, you know.
No, we won't.
Oh, okay.
No, we won't.
All right. Great job, Bill. Congratulations, because you're the guy that put this together. All right, right now we're going to go back to our studios with Wes. Wes?
Okay, Ed, thanks a lot, and congratulations to Bill Poley and Frank Wright. Beautiful job of reading the defenses this afternoon, mainly for the Buffalo Bills. Marv Levy conducting his post-game press conference, and we join the Bills head coach live.
Wait a minute, we got we've got magnificent fans. Were they a factor in the game? Without a question. Without a question. They helped us. They inspired us. I'm sure they made it more difficult for Miami to operate. It is when you're on the road. The big advantage is playing at home usually is your crowd. Usually is your crowd.
They got the goalpost.
I beg your pardon?
They got the goalpost, though, instead of
They did get the goalpost?
one horse.
Okay, well, that's too bad because we're going to need it some more.
Extent of the injury to Don Beebe.
Don broke his leg, broke his lower leg, and he'll be done the rest of the way.
Defensive key today?
That was not a blanket condemnation, by the way. I think that most of the treatment of the team has been very even-handed. I think it's been in very isolated areas that it hasn't been. I beg your pardon?
Speak up.
With the offensive line, can you talk specifically to the amount of time that Frank was getting today?
I didn't quite hear you.
Can you talk about the amount of time that Frank got to throw today?
Oh, well, he got good time to throw. They were playing a good deal of zone defense. Frank read coverage as well. But our offensive line did a great job of protecting. Frank put them into good protection schemes a lot. He put them into good protection schemes. But our offensive line did the work. You know, they did they did the dirty work. The hard work.
Pretty much the game plan that even Jim would have run the same game plan pretty much.
It was the same type of game plan that we would have come in with Jim Kelly, yes. Again, I said it all week. We tried to structure a plan for Miami that either quarterback is best equipped to run our offense, not his offense, his specific offense. They've both been operating with this type of thing most of the year. We're not sure how it would come down. We didn't know in any game we played that we might continue with something we were doing, but we had some success and stayed with it.
Is this the most used the one back all year? Use one back?
Yeah. This is the most. This is the most.
Special reason?
No, Milt, it comes right off of what I just said. I wouldn't have guessed going into the game that we would have, by the end of the game, have used one back as much as we did. But we were getting...
Stayed with it?
We stayed with it because we were getting success, particularly in a mix of run and pass. So we did stay with it. But if you would have... which I wouldn't have before the game, but I know in my own mind, to guess that we would have used it that much to the exclusion of two backs, I would have said no, we wouldn't have.
How crucial was it for Thurman to have a real good game as he did? Say that you wanted to run.
Well, it's crucial for
Bills head coach Marv Levy live at his press conference following the Bills win that clinches the AFC East for them. You heard the bad news from Marv just now live. Don Beebe, the wide receiver, has a broken leg and is lost for the remainder of the season. And one correction earlier, the Pittsburgh Steelers did not clinch the AFC Central today, but just a playoff berth in their win this afternoon. We'll be back with more live from the stadium in just a minute. Don't go away.
The Bills make me wanna shout, kick your heels up and shout, throw your hands up and shout, throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout, yeah, 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 yeah. Say you will. Shout it right now, baby. The Bills make me wanna shout, kick your heels up and shout, throw your hands up and shout, throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making...
With their win this afternoon, the Bills go to 13-2, and that is the best regular season record ever for a Buffalo Bills team and the most wins. They already have a lock on that. Let's go to the NFL scoreboard this afternoon. Houston has lost now. This is a final 40-20, and both those teams are still alive for playoff position. Cincinnati's still alive for the division championship. Elsewhere, it was Pittsburgh over Cleveland 35-0 is the final there, and the Steelers again clinch at least a wild card with that victory this afternoon. The New York Jets Jets and New England Patriots. Just playing out the schedule here. Jets 42-7 over New England. The hapless Patriots fall to 1-14 on the season right now. Philadelphia defeated Dallas 17-3. The Cowboys still can clinch the last remaining playoff berth in the NFC. Either they or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will get that. And Chicago over Tampa Bay 27-14 this afternoon. That's a final. Atlanta over the Rams 20-13. This is a final score also from Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta. And now the 4 o'clock starts. New Orleans, San Francisco just getting underway. No score there. KC and San Diego. If the Chargers win this game, it gives the AFC West to the Los Angeles Raiders. Kansas City still in the playoff hunt for a wild card. Giants and Phoenix scoreless in the first quarter. And Denver and Seattle an 8 o'clock start tonight at the Seattle Kingdom. Ed Kilgore standing by live in the Bills locker room now with Shane Conlon. Ed?
That's right, Wes. You know, it's hard to say today who did the better job, the offense or the defense. You talk about team victory, Shane. This was it. You guys went out. You knew what you had to do was stuff the run, and you certainly did that. I don't have the Miami stats. I'm sure the Bills had to be close to a couple hundred yards rushing, and the Dolphins had very few.
Right. It was a total team victory. I think the offense played great. Frank Reich did a heck of a job, and defensively, our secondary played awesome, and we were able to get pressure on Marino.
Well, it's a little frustrating in the first half when most of the calls, just about everything close was going Miami's way. And was there ever that thought that, gee whiz, this might not be our day?
No, because we were playing well, regardless of the calls. I think we were playing well both ways, both sides of the ball. So, other than that, no, we just want to play football.
How about the missed field goal down there? That had to be a little bit of a...
That was great. Ray Bentley had great pressure on there. We had great pressure all year on our kick blocking, so I think that might have affected it somewhat.
Well, was there anything said at the half, or did you just come in and just say, just keep doing what we're doing, or did you make any adjustments?
No, we didn't make any adjustments defensively. I thought we came in, we said, you know, we did a great job, which we did. I thought the whole game we did a great job. You know, they probably wouldn't have scored that last time, but before that, you know, they had that long kickoff run. Other than that, I think we were shutting them down pretty well.
All right. Now O.J. said something on the telecast about Bruce and McKellar having a little friendly disagreement during the practice season. Was there anything to that? Was that distracting?
Not at all. I mean, it's like a big family. Everybody has fights once in a while. There was no big deal. You know, just...
Who won?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Shane, tell me this. Was it hard not to look ahead to the Dolphins this season? I mean, especially as the year got later on. I know you went to New York and you played a great game against the Giants, but was it difficult not to focus on this game?
No, not at all. I think this is a different team this year. We're playing every game, one game at a time, and we're giving our best effort week in and week out. You know, our bottom line is we want to win 14 games, so we'll be up for next week also.
I was going to say next week is not a throwaway game.
Not at all, not at all. We want to be the best defense we can be, best team we can be, and we want to go 14-2.
All right, Shane, thanks for stopping by. And
Three-peat.
There you go, 3 in a row, AFC East champions. That's right, Shane Conlon, a big part of that. And right now we're going to go back to our studios in West. Go forth, Wes.
Okay, Ed, thank you. Shane Conlon, the Buffalo Bills linebacker, had 1 sack this afternoon of Dan Marino. The Bills altogether 3 sacks this afternoon. Tonight on Sports Extra at 11:30, we'll have the Bills-Dolphins story for you. Also an interview with Bison's president Bob Rich Jr. about the Bisons making the short list of expansion teams earlier in the week and other issues. And, of course, our roundtable discussion. And, by the way, the Buffalo Sabres play the Quebec Nordiques tonight. Don't go away. We'll be back with more live from the stadium in just a minute.
The Bills make me wanna shout, kick your heels up and shout, throw your hands up and shout, throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout, yeah, 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 yeah. Say you will. Shout it right now, baby. Say you will. The Bills make me wanna shout, kick your heels up and shout, throw your hands up and shout, throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now.
The Buffalo Bills will start the playoffs in 3 weeks, the weekend of January 12th or 13th, against a winner of a previous AFC playoff game. And that game, the Bills game, will be at Rich Stadium. Ed Kilgore now live with one of the 8 Pro Bowlers of the Buffalo Bills this week. Ed?
That's right. We're with Steve Tasker and the Miami Dolphins. What a compliment. Steve, I guess they developed a special game plan just for you. And I don't know how effective it was, but I saw you down. You seem to be, we saw your number down there on coverage quite a bit.
Well, I think that was for the fact that they were rushing a lot of punts, and that kind of took them out of their game plan. when we were covering kicks the way we were, and we put them in a position where they had to come after us and make something happen, and they can't really worry about me when they're trying to do that.
Big play came in that second half kickoff when the ball hung up in the wind a little bit, I guess, and the fumble, and somebody jumped on it.
Yeah, the guy tried to field it and came forward, and Dwight had it and was down. And then in the ensuing fracas, he lost it. But when he was down, then they jumped on him, so the play was dead right then. That's why we got the ball. They had 3 Dolphins when they finally unpiled it.
Well, I wondered what the confusion was. Yeah.
3 guys when they finally unpiled it, 3 Dolphins had the ball. And but the thing was, Dwight had it, and then they jumped on him and took it away. So as soon as they jumped on him, the play was dead because he had possession of it. And so anything that happened after that was academic.
Looks like you might be pressed into service a little more. You don't like to see guys go down, but Don Beebe definitely is going to be out now. So I saw you pressed into service a little more at that wide receiver spot.
Well, I saw a couple of plays in the first half. Don got dinged a little bit early, but I only went in for a play or two. And they have a lot of confidence in Al Edwards. He can come in. He's as fast as Don, I would think. So we've got good guys we can put in. Plus, we have a couple of guys that we could activate off our practice squad, too. So we're not going to be hurting too bad. It's just a question of experience.
Okay, Steve, congratulations, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Steve Tasker, all-pro special teams guy, and right now we're going to go back to Wes.
Okay, thanks, Ed. Bruce Smith had no sacks this afternoon, but certainly plenty of pressures on Dolphins quarterback Dan Marino. Bruce is conducting a post-game press conference right now, and we join him live.
That was a big key for us.
How emotional was this?
Oh, it was very emotional. Very emotional. I tell you, we've been ready the whole week to play them. I mean, we had coaches coming into the meetings, banging their heads up against lockers and fired up and ready to go. We had to tell a couple of our coaches, hey, you're not playing Sunday. You know, we got to play the game.
This was perhaps the most draining week mentally for you guys?
Yeah. I think because of the fact that it seemed like it took so long to get here. We were ready to play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it just kept going and going and going, and everybody was tense and nervous. And finally, when it got here, you know, this is the moment we've been waiting for, and we took advantage of the opportunity.
Did you get your Christmas wish?
One of them. I still have a couple more to go, and that's to be AFC divisional champions first. And I think with that, the goals that I set for myself and some of the goals that the other team members of the team have set for themselves, it'll be complete.
Okay. Thank you.
Bills defensive end Bruce Smith, as he said, he got one of his Christmas wishes. The Bills wrap up the regular season next Sunday at RFK Stadium in Washington against the Washington Redskins, then a bye week by virtue of their victory this afternoon, and again opening the playoffs in the AFC semifinals the weekend of January 12th and 13th, 3 weeks from now. We'll be back with more live from the stadium in just a minute.
The Bills make me wanna shout, kick your heels up and shout, throw your hands up and shout, throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout, yeah, 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 yeah. Say you will. Shout it right now, baby. Say you will. Come on, come on.
Okay, we are back, and we have the Pepsi Player of the Game for you, as voted by you, the fans. Thurman Thomas gets a year's supply of Pepsi-Cola, 46% of the vote this afternoon. He had 150-plus yards rushing. Frank Reich with 25% of the vote. And Don Beebe, unfortunately, with a broken leg, out for the season, 19% of the vote. Darryl Talley, 10% of the vote. And Ed Kilgore live with a couple of those guys right now. Back to the stadium. Ed?
That's right, Russ. We're with Darryl Talley right now, who... You're finally getting some respect here, Darryl. We had you in the poll in the Final Four, so at least somebody. I think they love you in Buffalo. Maybe it's just the rest of the, but today it has to all be for naught. I mean, as far as Pro Bowl or anything else, this has to make that a little sweeter.
Well, it makes it a little sweeter because, you know, we get a chance now to have home field advantage and get an extra week to get guys healed up.
All right. How about the big thing today was for you, of course, was to stop the Dolphins' running game, and you certainly did that.
I think the guys up front played well. You know, guys were getting in their gaps and making plays. We had a couple outstanding plays up front, and, you know, guys just really hustled to the football today.
All right. Now, is there any tendency to now that you've got the home field clinched, to look past Washington, or is it?
No, because Washington got beat last week. So anytime a team gets beat the week before, they come back like a rattlesnake, and they'll bite, and they bite hard.
Okay, Darryl, congratulations. Best of luck the rest of the way. All right, now the quarterback, Mr. Reich. Frank, great job. It seems like the one thing that you kept saying all week and the coaching staff kept saying was that we're not going to be tentative. We're not going to go out and be too conservative. You were anything but conservative.
No, I think our plan was to stay with the same offense, and I'm just thankful that they let me do that. And you know, the offensive line just did an outstanding job today. I mean, as well as Thurman, they just really controlled the line of scrimmage.
You know, it seemed to me you might have actually been in the no-huddle more today than at any time all year combined.
I think we were. I think we were in the no-huddle just about the whole day. So, but I felt comfortable with it, and it was working, so we stayed with it.
Did it shake you up a little bit when you lost the fumble on the first drive? You were moving the ball pretty well, and you got kind of blindsided there, it looked like.
That was just careless on my part. I should have had two hands on the ball and just stepped up and unfortunately got it knocked out. But no, it really didn't shake me up. You know, I just want to say I just really want to take an opportunity to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because he really gave me a lot of confidence and peace going into this game and gave me the opportunity. So I just thank him.
All right, Frank, great job this afternoon. And, here we see, we're seeing the tail end of the first touchdown, or the second touchdown, was it, to Andre Reed? Maybe you can discuss that play. I mean, you didn't have much room to work there.
Andre just ran a little quick slant. He does that as well as anyone in the league. And I know he just uses his body so well. He's so strong. Just get it into him. And as you see here, J.B. Brown backs off. He's a great corner, but Andre's just a little too much, I think, for anybody.
All right, Frank, congratulations and best of luck next week and in the playoffs.
Thank you very much.
Frank Reich, who did just an outstanding job this afternoon, although you certainly have to say, Wes, that the offensive line did its part by giving him time. Thurman Thomas ran the ball for over 150 yards, so what more could you ask? Wes?
Absolutely, Ed. Frank had plenty of time. Unofficially, 15 completions, 21 attempts, 235 yards, and 2 touchdowns. 24-14. The Bills are now 13-2, beating the Miami Dolphins. They have the AFC East in hand and home field through the playoffs. Join us for more on sports at 6 and 11 tonight, and of course, Sports Extra at 11:30. I'm Wes Goforth for Ed Kilgore, Mike DeGeorge.
Game at a time, one at a time. As long as we play that way and play together as a team, I think we got a chance against anybody. I wanted to see these posts come down. I was looking forward to this. Buffalo, #1.
And they go on to defeat the Miami Dolphins. That'll do it. The clock running down, and they are now officially celebrating the AFC East Championship.
It's a good feeling, but you know, we were division champs last year also, and you know, we just want to take it a little step further than that. I think the team has the maturity to realize that this was not our goal for the season.
Well, the fans weren't afraid to say it, were they? Welcome to Sports Extra again. I'm Ed Kilgore, and the Bills have taken just a giant step towards Tampa Bay in Super Bowl 25. The 24-14 win over Miami clinches the AFC East title and home field throughout the playoffs. And we're going to have defensive coordinator Walt Corey with us live in a few moments. We're also going to show you the Sabres' 10-3 win over Quebec. And we're going to hear Bob Rich tell us if he's having second thoughts about the expansion dream, which leads us to tonight's telepoll for the Bills, offense, defense, special teams. But the brunt of the pressure coming into perhaps the biggest NFL game ever played in Buffalo, squarely on Frank Reich's shoulders. And once again, he proved those shoulders are very capable and strong. The record-rich stadium crowd of 80,433, only 198 no-shows on a cool, drizzly day, solidly behind Jim Kelly's capable backup. Reich keeps it all in perspective, though.
Going into the game, I mean, I told Jim before the game, I said, Jim, I just want to get this thing back in your hands. You know, I'm not looking to come in, and I said it before earlier in the week, I'm not looking to come in and be the hero of this game. You know, there were a lot of guys out there today that played extremely well, and I was just happy to be a part of it again.
Frank gets off to a tough start, though. He's driven the Bills 47 yards on their first possession, but then Sauché strips the ball away, and Miami recovers. But then in the second quarter, Reich hits Don Beebe for 17 yards. Unfortunately, Don's going to be out for the rest of the year. This helps set up a 7-yard touchdown pass to James Lofton. The Bills lead at 7-0 at the half. This capped a 13-play, 80-yard drive.
Well, we just had a quick slant called on, and what they did is all their defenders just stopped on the goal line. And I saw Frank trying to move around a little bit in the pocket, and I just snuck behind them.
Then in the third quarter, right to Andre Reed from 11 yards out. This makes it 14-0. The offensive line gives him time, and Reich makes the plays.
I saw J.B. Brown that was kind of on Andre's back, and I just tried to throw it into his body so he could make the play. And, you know, when you throw it like that to Andre, I mean, you have all the confidence in the world he's going to come up with it.
Outstanding. Frank did a great job, very poised. He threw the ball well, made good decisions, ran our offense very well.
Well, that he did, and here's a look at the numbers. 15 of 21, 223 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. You can't do it much better than that. The Bills' offensive line also gave Thurman Thomas some room to roam, and Thurman seems to be at his best in big games and bad weather. He had an outstanding day. He had 154 yards on 30 carries with a touchdown, so the Bills ran the ball, and they also stopped the run. The Dolphins finished with this 35 yards rushing, 3 in the second half when they simply gave up on it. Thurman averaging 5 yards a carry. And even he banged up a knee in the first quarter, played anyway. His 13-yard touchdown run in the fourth quarter caps a 76-yard drive and really puts the game away. As you see some of the running done by Thurman Thomas here, and the crowd looking on. Watch him here as he breaks a couple tackles, dips outside and into the end zone. And he says he figured he might be busy today.
I kind of knew it once we went on that first drive and we were running the ball real well. I kind of figured out that time that I was going to be a workhorse throughout the entire game. And, you know, offensive line felt the same way, and we just kept running it down the throat.
Special teams also played a part in this one. The key play, second half kickoff. Scott Norwood's high kick hangs up in the wind as we take a look at this. And Mark Logan has to make a run at it, and he doesn't get the handle. He muffs it. Carlton Bailey recovers at the Miami 32, a huge break, which the Dolphins' Jim Jensen says the Bills didn't deserve.
I thought that was a bad call because we ended up with the ball, and I think the ref made a bad judgment on the ball because we ended up having the ball, and he can't really tell, you know, who's got the ball.
Well, Bills punter Rick Tootin also responds to the pressure with an excellent game. He averaged 42.8 on 4 punts. The Dolphins returned only one of them for 8 yards. The Bills also doing some pretty good hitting, as you'll see on one of the kickoffs. Maybe the best hit, Hal Garner. Woo! Everybody get that license plate. And again, as we mentioned, the Bills' defense just superb. Here's defensive coordinator Walt Corey with us. Now, this is the real Walt Corey. I don't know if you saw HBO's Inside the NFL, which is actually one of my favorite programs, Walt. But for those of you who saw that program, this is the real Walt Corey.
That's right.
Did that tick you off the other day?
No, nothing ticks me off. I got other things to worry about than worry about things like that.
Like the Miami Dolphins. You know, I was sitting up in the booth today. It was a lot of fun with the Juice, O.J. Simpson, and he said he thought the addition of Clayton made Miami about 25% better on offense. Did you look at it that way?
Well, you know, when they get receivers back like Clayton and some of their other people that were on injured reserve, you know, you have just, you know, a little extra pressure, and you have enough pressure as it is with a guy like Marino and Duper and Stratford and Jensen, and so they have enough weapons. But when they get the extra ones back, you kind of have to think back and wonder what they're going to do with them.
You're also able to put a lot of pressure on Marino. As a matter of fact, you sacked him 3 times. Now, that's the first time in quite a while that's happened. As we take a look here, I know you don't expect to get to this guy 3 times in a football game.
Well, you know, they've done an excellent job over the years of protecting Dan Marino, and anytime you get a sack, you know, you have to be very, very pleased with yourself as a player and excited for the player as a coach. And, you know, Jeff Wright did an excellent job, and Colin did a good job on one time on a spy technique, and
the rookie Mike Lodish also.
Mike Lodish, yeah. I'll tell you what, Mike Lodish is he's just one of those young rookies that just has fun playing.
Well, he does there, and that's, I believe, his second sack. But now you had a little bit of a problem in that Kirby Jackson obviously can't play for you now. So you had the rookie in there, James Williams, who was burned once, but he also came up with some pretty good plays.
I tell you, James Williams is a good football player, and I tell you what, the nice thing about James, he never loses his cool. You know, as a corner and as a rookie, people are always going to pick on you, and they did it to Nate when he was a rookie, and I don't think there's a rookie in the league that hasn't experienced the pressure of that first year. But I'm glad he plays for us.
On the minus side there now, John Hagee took a penalty there that could have hurt you. I mean, now obviously he had a hard time maybe putting on the brakes on that play, but as he got up high on the receiver, he gets the 15 yards for the personal foul. Is that something you talked to him a little about?
Well, you know, I told him, I says, now you just can't afford to do something like that in a game like this. And, you know, the adrenaline's flowing so fast and it's so high, and everybody's wanting to get the big hit. And, you know, I think he calmed himself down and played an excellent game. But, you know, you don't like to see those things happen, and particularly after a good play like J.D. made, you know, knocking the ball down, and I think it was a potential punt that was going to come up, and it gave him another first down. But, you know, those things happen in a game, and you hate to see them happen in a game like this, but fortunate we got out of it.
Well, very well. You gave up 2 touchdowns, one which really wasn't a factor in the ball game. I know that probably hurt a little bit. You'd like to held them to 1, but still a terrific job this afternoon. And Walt, good luck next week at Washington and on in the playoffs.
Well, thanks, Ed.
All right, so Walt Corey and his defense doing quite a job this afternoon. Now, there was a downer in the victory. As we told you, wide receiver Don Beebe out, broke his leg in 2 places on this play in the 3rd quarter. John Offerdahl hits the left leg as he's downfield, breaking the tibia and fibula. He's going to be out 4 to 6 months. But if all goes well, he'll be ready to go by training camp. Terrific game. Had 3 catches for 74 yards in the biggest game of his life, but it's now up to Al Edwards to pick up the slack. And we'd like to remind you to take part in our sports section.
Jamie Miller, the Buffalo Bills. What I'd like for Christmas more than anything in this whole world is 1991 Super Bowl championship ring.
Hi, I'm Bruce Smith of the Buffalo Bills. I'd like to wish all the troops over in Saudi Arabia a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And at the same time, a wish that I hope will come true for the Buffalo Bills and for the city of Buffalo is that we have the playoffs here in Buffalo.
Hi, I'm Ken Hall of Buffalo Bills. I'd like to wish every one of you out there a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Well, the Buffalo Sabres rock.
Christmas wish to the world is that I would like for our soldiers to come back from over in Saudi Arabia. I know I have someone very dear to me. My father's over there, and I just like to wish him the best, and my prayers go out to him.
Hi, I'm Jim Richer, and for Christmas, I'd like to see peace in the Middle East and also an AFC Championship.
Hi, I'm Steve Tasker, number 89 of the Buffalo Bills. And I'd like to wish everybody out there a Merry, Merry Christmas in Buffalo. I'd like to tell you that we're playing our hearts out for you, and we hope we all go to the Super Bowl together. Merry Christmas.
Hi, I'm Adam Lingner of the Buffalo Bills, number 63, and my wish for this holiday season is that everybody in Western New York and around the world has someplace warm and a good meal, hot meal in their stomach, and some loved ones around for the holidays.
This is Jeff Wright of the Buffalo Bills. For Christmas, I'd like to have the playoffs here in Buffalo.
My name is Mitch Farad. What I'd like for Christmas this year is world peace.
Hi, my name is Pete Metzler, tight end for the Buffalo Bills, and my Christmas wish is 10 strokes off my handicap and sunny days in golf every day.
Round table, and you know, there, of course, we have Mike DeGeorge with his Bills T-shirt on. The Super Bowl, boy, somebody already. Super Bowl 25, actually should be 1991.
No, that's right. It says it says the AFC East Championships, 88.
Oh, all right.
89,
Okay.
90. My wife bought this before the game, so maybe she knew something.
Maybe so. Well, you'll have to wear it now the next couple home games, I guess, or whatever.
Can I wash it in between?
Please do. You know, there's so many positive things to talk about, but one of the things that I think almost goes unnoticed in the success of the Bills, and that is the terrific job the general manager Bill Polian has done, and the leeway that Ralph Wilson has given him, because you take Frank Reich as an example. Now, a lot of people were really screaming about the fact that he signed a big contract, I think $600K or whatever it was. Right now, that looks like a pretty good move, because you don't know whether your first-string quarterback's going to go down or not. You have a guy that you have a lot of faith in. Sure, I think Gail Gilbert is a good quarterback, arguably, but you have a guy that can do it in the clutch under pressure. Frank has proven that. He's also done a great job with the Plan B. John Davis helped plug up that offensive line a little bit. You have your role players coming in. Don Smith with some key third down plays. You match the offer and sign Bruce Smith. But all these things that in the past Bills organization used to mess up, they're finally getting it right, and it is showing on the field.
Well, don't forget Hicks and Poole, the two guys that had injuries in the defensive backfield. The Bills went out and got Hicks and Poole, two guys who played well. Hicks with the interception today.
How did the Rams give up on Hicks? I know he was injury prone, but the guy's a player.
That's why they're 5-10.
Yeah, they've had a bad year, right?
Reich amazes me. I think he's a great story. I mean, he does not have...
There was a time, Mike DeGeorge, I remember you were not Frank Reich's biggest fan.
Well, the thing with Frank is, my feeling with Frank was he could never be a good backup because he never had the experience, and it still amazes me. The guy's only played, 6 or 7 games. He's undefeated. He's just incredible. I don't think he's the most gifted athlete in the world, but he knows the offense extremely well.
That's it.
That's
the thing about Frank is he is such a student. He knows the offense as well as Kelly. I mean, because he relays the plays in, and he knows he's on call any minute, and it shows.
You know, this is starting to become a little bit like the 49ers situation where Montana goes out and Walsh comes in. They don't even miss a beat.
You know, except the one difference here is Frank seems to be a little more, at least so far, he seems to be satisfied with the backup role, and he told Jim Kelly before the game, he said, I just want to set the table for you here and do the job and not make any mistakes.
His role on the
Thank
team.
goodness for it. We wouldn't want any, controversy.
But you know,
those two.
I tell you, a lot of depth and character on this team as we wrap it up here. The Bills, 4-0 without Kelly. They're 4-0 without Bruce Smith. That was a couple years ago. They're 23-2 at Rich Stadium, and they're 4-0 in December.
Yeah, remember one thing, sport doesn't build character, it reveals it.
I think that's a good point, Stu. There's one for Stu. Okay, we're going to be here again next Sunday night after the Bills wrap up the regular season as they go for that 14th win at Washington. It's going to be a tough one, but hopefully we'll be talking about the Bills going into the playoffs with some momentum. So please join us next Sunday night here on Sports Extra. So long, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry